It is I, Hellgear. Welcome back to Merge Dragons. Saturday sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Saturday sucked. I sort of tweeted out exactly what was going on Saturday. I was in the middle of getting stuff ready, but Saturday sucked. I had to deal with a family emergency. Specifically, I had to cart Mother Hell off to... Well, it wasn't that. Mother Hell had to go to the emergency room. And here's the thing about that. Hospital trips suck. All right, let's make that perfectly clear. Hospital trips suck. I managed to get open up this area, but let's start popping all these, man. Yeah, I gotta keep an eye on you, so you don't go eating all my damn bones. There. So essentially, I didn't get to play anything today. Or, I didn't get to play anything at all. Okay, you got the branches. I'll be real with you guys. I don't know how. I'm probably not going to be able to come back from this. You know, I haven't even started doing the charms, and usually by this amount of time, I'm already on tiers. Whether it's grinding out the charms for going halfway or whatnot, I haven't even gotten the level 2 yet, and that's bad. That's really bad for business. So this unfortunately is going to be a failure for me. You know, let me sip my drink, because this, I'm in between pissed and bummed out. Sparkling water, man. You know, health is an interesting topic, and one of the things that people probably go through the most arguments over is your health. Is health in general. Okay, fine. You know what? Move this. Alright. Move this. That's a 50. Those are 50s. Okay. These are 4. Let's throw a quick save down and keep on going. You know, people are real finicky about their health. Even like old people, they're real finicky about their health. And our parents, you know, senior citizens, they have that tendency to sometimes not want to go to the doctor or the hospital, you know. They can be stubborn, you know, because when you ask people, it's like, look, you're not feeling well, should we take you to the hospital? You know, you're taking your medicines and, you know, you've had this for a couple of days, things haven't improved. Right? Now, I've said this before. You know, when you have to deal with people who are on oxygen, it's a very trying thing. It tries your patience, it tries your wits. You know, it's something that is very, very difficult to deal. And when you're having an issue with your oxygen flow and everything that you have is not helping, it's time to go see a doctor. But when you have that stubborn family member that's like, well, I'm not going to the doctor, I have everything that I need right here that the doctor would give me in the hospital. It's like, what are you supposed to do with this form of very little common sense? I'm not going to call it stupidity. You know, this isn't stupidity. This is just like more of a stigma. Put this bubble right there. You know, it's bad enough that this is not the first time that it's happened. Let's be real. This is not the first time this particular issue has happened with Mother Hell. This is not. And you would think that you would have learned from the first time. You know, look, I get it. Nobody wants to go to the hospital, all right? Nobody wants to pay a $50 bill for a hospital visit, okay? Especially senior citizens that are on fixed incomes. But when you're older in life, actually, let me rephrase that. As you get older in life, one of the most important things for we as people is our health. And while you may not want to take that hospital visit, and in some cases, not in the case of my parents, of course, but in some cases, when you can't afford going to the hospital, you do whatever you can to stay home, try to nip whatever it is in the bud. But let's be real. There's only so long you can deal with things at home. Okay? There's only so much sparkling water, man. Yeah, well, actually, there's plenty of sparkling water. Sparkling water makes it sparkling cool. Kudos to anybody who knows where that comes from. You can only do so much at home. Even if you have the top grade hospital medications, there's only so much you can do at home. You know. So, what they're doing is they're keeping her overnight for observations, and that's one thing that Mother Hell really doesn't like. She doesn't like staying overnight at the hospital, even when she has to. You know, she's stubborn that way. But I love her, even if she is a stubborn mule every now and again. You gotta love your parents, even if they drive you bat-ish crazy and stress you out to the point where you start feeling 20 years older than your actual age. You know, your health is important. And as I was making the trip home from going out on the freeway, they had this little billboard that says staying healthy is not health insurance. And let's be real, a lot of people think that that is health insurance, just staying healthy. Now, I personally, being sick sucks, you know, especially when you're an adult. When you're an adult, being sick sucks a lot harder than it does when you're a kid. You know, when you're sick as a kid, it sucks, but at least you get to stay home from school, if you're sick enough, of course. And I say if you're sick enough because, man, ooh boy. You know, Mother and Father Hell, when I was a kid, they were like, look, if you got this mild kind of sickness, your ass is going to school anyway. You better be like really sick to be staying home. And that's how it was for me growing up as a kid. You know, you got a mild cold, now you're taking your ass to school. Swig this cough medicine, put on some warm clothes, and get your ass out the door. That's how it was, you know. Now, if you got like a fever or the flu, and it's like the first day of having that, okay, now you can stay home. You know, it has to be something real drastic. Schools today are a lot different. And in some cases, work offices today are different too. Because what they'll tell you is that if you're sick, stay home. You know, that's one of those things, man. If you're sick, stay home. You know, and the reason they tell you this is they don't want you getting your coworkers or fellow school or classmates sick. You know, they do this in colleges, they do this at jobs, they do this at grade schools, they do this at, well, yeah, grade schools, they do this in kindergartens as well. You know, it's like when a good example, we'll take Munchie's school for example, okay? Because, you know, she's 4. The teachers are like, look, they see these kids with like runny, snotty noses, right? And they're like, hey, if the snot coming out of your head is like not the right color, they literally send the kids home. You know, when you got snot coming out your nose, and if it's like clear or white, you're fine. But if it's like green or like orange or something like that, nah. Go back home. Keep your kid home. We don't want him. You don't want him or her getting the rest of school sick. We don't want the teachers getting sick. Nobody wants to get sick. It's like when you're seriously sick, today's society treats it like you are a walking biohazard. Yeah. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that when somebody is like super ass sick, they're like, dude, go home. You know, even when I was a teenager, you know, working part-time to get some of that pocket change, right? And Father Hell, he was looking at me as like, look, if you're sick for 3 days in a row, it's gonna go against your work grade. Well, see, times have changed. That no longer applies anymore. And if you're working at a job where if you're sick for 3 days straight, it goes against you, you need to find a way to get a different job, because jobs can't really hold that against you. You know, that's why when you have jobs and you have what's called sick leave, you use your sick leave. You know, and when I had that teenage job and I had my sick leave, I used my sick leave. You know, I usually was down for like a day or two. There was like a couple instances where I was down for 3 days in a row, and I hated those, man. The days when you're down 3 in a row, they sucked. And the big problem with why Father Hell was like that with his job is because a lot of these idiots, especially like in the 90s and the early 2000s, idiots would do the dumbest things, right? They would call in sick for things and not be sick. You know, a perfect example of that is, let me zoom in here on Polygon. I didn't even get the second dragon. You see how far behind this family emergency deal set me back? I'm not going to be able to recover from this. I probably won't take home any cheers, man. I know I have one more day, but I probably will not be taking home anything from this event, which is unfortunate for me. So I hope everybody who's playing this event gets as far as they can, and kudos to everyone who has already completed the event. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This idiot, a former coworker of mine, when I was doing the part-time thing as a teenager, that 18, 19-year-old that's getting some of that good pocket money, right? He calls in sick from work. And ironically enough, the most recent iPhone comes out. And it's on the news. So, I'm watching the news, right? And there he is, on the news, talking to the reporter about it. He's like, oh yeah, man, I called in sick from work just to stand in line to get this phone. To everybody who works, if you're going to call in sick from work, Don't go jumping in a line for the hottest new phone. Okay? So here's what happened. The next morning, I catch him. It's like 40 minutes before shift starts. And I'm like, dude, did you seriously call in sick and then go in to get this new iPhone? He's like, how'd you know about that? I was like, dude, you made the news. I made the news? Yeah. You made the news. Yeah, I did. I'm shaking my head. I'm like, you are an idiot. You are a Satan damn idiot. What? It's my sick time. Yeah, but you weren't sick, you dummy. That's the problem. You weren't sick, but you went to go stand in line for a phone. Let me kick out. So, as shift starts, right? The shift starts, and the boss comes in, calls dude, right? Just calls him over to the table. To where the manager is, or where our supervisor is, right? Handed him his walking papers. Dude was fired. He was like, so, feeling better from calling in sick the other day? I was like, yeah, I feel a lot better. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I saw you on the news talking to the reporter about getting this brand new iPhone. You saw that? Yeah, I saw that. Dude was fired. Fired. Before we end today's episode, I want to show you guys the sweet, sweet loading screen. This is a cool looking loading screen for Merge Dragons. I think I've showed this before when I did the Merge Dragons survey, but let me just show you the loading screen before we close things up. Because this is a cool looking loading screen. You know, dude got fired. So, on the weekend I talked to him, was like, they sent you home early? I was like, nah, dude, he fired me. I was like, yep, you got what you deserve. And he was like, he's like, really? You're going to be that much of a jerk? I was like, dude, you're the one that called in sick to work to go stand in line for a phone. If you are going to go and stand in line for a phone post-vacation time, you idiot, don't call in sick to go home. You know, there have been times where I've called in sick from work, right? And as I'm out and about, I've run into my supervisors and bosses, and they're like, oh, you weren't calling in to school today. It's like, nope. Right? They see me in the store. And when I go out, when I'm sick and I have to go to the store, I'm all wrapped up and whatnot. Right? So I run right into my soup and my other boss. Right? Because I called in sick that day, but I run into him at the store. And I was like, well, there's my boss. I'm not even going to try to run away from me. If I can see him, he clearly sees me. You know, I'm not that dumbass that's like, oh, let's play hooky from work after you've called in sick. Nah, that's not my style. So he comes up to me and he's like, there's a sweet looking loading screen, right? Anyway, he's like, so how you feeling? It's like, yeah, it sucks. But as you can see, I got these cans of like chicken noodle soup and all this hot sauce in the basket, right? And it's like, So what's up with all the hot sauce? It's like, oh, this is one of my ways to help burn my sick out of me. You can see I got all these cans of chicken soup, like all these, the big cans of Progresso chicken soup. And he's like, he sees me like 3 different layers. I got on a coat, my sweater, I'm wearing sweats, that sort of thing. All bundled up warm, right? And he's looking at me. And it wasn't for the fact that I still sound nasally, all congested and all that. He just looks at me and is like, man, you definitely are something else, man. He's like, I hope you feel better. Yeah. And if not, I'll be calling you tomorrow telling you I'll be sick another day at work. Moral of the story, kids and working class out there, if you're going to be sick, if you're going to be sick and you have a job and you post sick time, stay at home. It's not worth losing your job over. It's not worth that. You know, because they can fire you on account of fraud. You know, it's just not worth it. You know, if you're sick and you have to go out and about in the days, make sure it's when you have to get out. And when you do, bundle up, get some soup and whatnot. Alright, everything is all good on my side of this hood, which probably isn't going to do too much. And I'm glad I was able to share with you guys a nice little story about health. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed yourselves, or the story that I told for this past couple of minutes about not trying to play hooky with sick time, show your love, hit the like button. And as always, thank you for every like and favorite, comment and share, and subscribe to the channel. I will make up this Merge Dragons loss for you guys. So next video is going to be my annual recap of the Zen Dragon event. Let me know in the comment section below if they finally release a tertiary dragon for the 3rd place prize, or if it's just a bunch of Zen Dragon eggs. But for now, Ezra's already at camp, so I'm done. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.